Well, welcome aboard the temporary grounded 737 cockpit. Today we're at Portland, Oregon, and we'll be flying to San Francisco International Airport, about an hour and a half, maybe a little more flight. So let's get the plane all set up, ready to go. Turn the TCAS on. Our squawk code is 4563 today. Next we're going to get some fuel on board and the payload information. So today we are, let's see, we're going to require 14,600 pounds of fuel. 14.6 into that, and our payload today is going to be 33,600 pounds. Thank you. 33,000.6. Okay, and we'll get the fuel truck coming, and while that's happening we can start setting up the CDU. So we will go to our route page. So our origin is KPDX, Portland, Oregon, and we're going to KSFO, enter that as a destination. We can use our company route today, so that's going to be KPDX KSFO 01. Enter that in the company routes, activate it and execute. Next I'm going to go to the departure arrival page. We'll go to departure from KPDX, and today, according to the flight plan, we are going to be departing on runway 28 left. So we'll select 28 left, and we're going to be departing via the Mini 5 SID. So we will enter that, and we are going to be leaving the SID at Famouk. So we'll select the Famouk transition, execute that, and I'm going to go ahead and put in the San Francisco arrival, pretty much always one of the runway 28s. So we will put that in today, and the flight plan, we're planning on 28 right, ILS 28 right, select that, and we're going to be via the Bodega 3 star and the Milback transition, and we're going to be joining the approach at Eddy, and we'll execute that. Okay, let's go to the legs page and plan mode on the EFIS. Zoom in a bit, and we'll just step through that to make sure it all looks okay. We have a vector when we leave the star before we join the arrival, and as we're not flying with ATC today, I'm going to leave the vector in, but we'll just self-vector ourselves. Otherwise that looks okay. Let's just brief the departure. So I'm going to go to 4 flight on here. So we're at gate C8. We're going to push back facing northwest, and we're going to head to taxiway Echo, make a left on Echo, make a left on Bravo, and then taxi to the end to Bravo 8, where we'll make a right and hold short of runway 28 left. And then let's look at the actual departure. Put up the plate here. So for 28 right, we're going to be required to climb heading 283, which is the runway heading. We can put that in now. 283, intercept climb heading 283, intercept course 268 to Pikitanga, and then on the depicted route. So we're going to be going to Pikitanga, and that's in the CDU. Pikitanga to Kelly, or Kelly Y, to Dudra, and to Mini, and then from Mini we're going to be leaving the SID via the Famouk exit, where we need to be at flight level 230, so we'll go ahead and put that into the MCP altitude. Okay. (230). That's 20. So flight level 230. So that's entered. And then via the transition, maintain assigned altitude. Expect filed altitude 10 minutes after departure. So that looks good. We'll put in the cruise altitude, which we haven't actually done yet. So let's get on and do that now. So fueling is finished. Our cost index is 30. Our reserve fuel today will be let's see, 2704, 2403. So that will be 51. We'll call it 5,200 pounds of fuel. Zero fuel weight is entered. Let's just make sure that is consistent with our what we've got on board. Okay, what did I say? The zero fuel rate 128.6. 128.6, that checks. Our cruise altitude today, I believe, is flight level 350. Let's just check that. Top of climb 350, so we're into flight level 350. Our cruise winds at top of climb will be forecasted to be 320 at 75, 320, 75, oops, that's 75, enter that, and our ISO deviation at top of climb will be +3. So +3 is entered, we'll execute that. M1 limit page today, we're not going to derate. Takeoff will be flaps 5. Our CG 27.1, and that checks with what we have entered. 27.1, and our V1 will be 134, VR 136, V2 146. We're into 146 on the MCP. 146 is entered. And trim is required 4.5 units, so we'll adjust that. 4.5 units is set. Flight directors on my side and the FO side. The cruise altitude pressurization is set, 35, flight level 350, and the landing altitude at San Francisco is 13 feet, so we'll leave that at 0. Okay, I think we're good there. Let's get the ATIS. So
Kilo Papa Delta X-ray airport information Foxtrot 205 Zulu weather wind 355 and 6 visibility 10 sky conditions view 1000 at 1900 ceiling 4400 wind temperature 15 dew point 4 altimeter 3021 advisement initial contact information Foxtrot
3021 in the altimeter, and we have Foxtrot. Okay, let's put the yaw damper on. Fuel pumps are coming on. We'll start up the APU. Window heat can come on. And right. We finish fueling. Let's put the emergency lights can come on. Finish fueling so the safety belt light can come on.
The seatbelt sign is on. Please be seated and fasten your seatbelt.
All right. Pre-flight oxygen is testing and set to 100%. Navigation, transfer and display switches are normal and auto. Window heat is on. Pressurization mode selector is auto flight instruments. Heading is 283, runway heading. Altimeter is set to 3021, and parking brake is set. Configuration error check works, and your start levers are cut off. Okay, we're good. I think we can get the doors closed and the jet bridge taken back. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the boarding doors are closed. Flight attendants report your doors for departure. Cross check, clear price job, stand by for all calls.
All right, we've got everyone strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
Okay, thank you. Alright, before start, checklist. The flight deck door is closed and locked. Fuel pumps are on. We require 14.6 thousand pounds of fuel, and we have that on board. Passenger signs are on. Windows are closed and locked, both sides. MCP V2 146, that checks with the CDU. Heading 283, initial altitude is flight level 230. Takeoff speeds V1 134, VR 136 and V2 146. CDU pre-flight is complete. Rudder and ailerons is 3 and 0. Taxi and takeoff briefing has been completed, and the anti-collision lights are on. Alright, so I think we're ready for pushback here. Let's call the tug.
Grounded cockpit, Taylor's driving up.
APU is online and available. APU is now on the bus. Okay. So APU here. And I think we're all set. Here comes the tug. And we'll discuss the updates to the sim once we get in the air and get near cruise altitude. We have plenty of time. Let's put this brightness up a bit.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Okay, go ahead, connect. Do our fire tests. Good. Cargo fire tests. Good. Stick shaker. Oops. Is good. All right. Lifting the nose up.
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Parking brakes released.
Starting pushback and using start engines.
Alright, we're going to start engine 2 and then engine 1. So packs can come off. Duct pressure's looking good. Go ahead and start 2. And there's N2. We're looking for 25% on N2. Oil pressure's coming up. There's 25%. Fuel's on. M1. EGT is coming up. Starter cut out. And the start valve is closed. And it's a good start on 2. Starting 1. In 2. coming up on 1. %, fuel's on. Start a canal, and the start valve is closed.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Okay, parking brake is set, and that's a good start.
Connecting tow. Stand by.
A good start on 1. Put engines on the bus. Packs can come back on. Isolation valve to auto. APU bleed can come off. Pillow heat is on. Let's see. Good there, we're good there. Engine starters to continuous. And we can turn the AP off. Save a bit of fuel there. Okay, flaps to 5. Flaps in transition.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have fun up there.
Thank you very much. See you next time. Alright, flaps are set to 5. Green lights. Controls check. Left, center, right, center, forward, center, back, center. Rudder pedals. Left, center, right, center. Controls are checked. Let's just check the cross valve. So bright, dim, and close the cross feed, bright, and off. So those check okay. Alright, the bank angle should be set to 25. Let's do our before taxi checklist. Generators are on. Propede is on. Anti-ice is not required. Isolation valve is auto. Engine start switches are continuous. Recall is checked and clear both sides. Auto brake is set to RTO. Flaps 5 green lights. Engine start levers are in idle detent. Flight controls are checked and ground equipment is clear. Alrighty, so I think we're good to go. The taxi light can come on. Parking brake can come on. Bring the runway map up here. So we're going to carry on to the end here and make a left. Okay. Make our left here. Bravo 3, make a left onto Bravo. Another plane that's sunk into the tarmac there on the left. their seats.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
Thank you. So the runway turn-off lights can come on. Okay, I'm going to arm the auto throttle. TCAS can come to TARA. There's Bravo 8. We'll make our right and hold short runway 28 left. And we'll hold short here. Okay, before takeoff checklist, flaps 5 green lights, 5 required, trim 4.5 units required and 4.5 units is set. Okay, I think we're ready to go. We've been cleared for takeoff. Strobes can come on. Left is what we're cleared for, and we're on to a left. Okay, we're good to go. Lights on, start the clock, 40% stable. Okay, takeoff thrust. Toga is set. Takeoff thrust is set. Airspeed's alive, both sides. Check. Check. Gear up. Check. LNAV can come on. And VNAV's on. Flaps 1. Flaps up. a left turn in a minute. So left turn. Progress page on the CD on my side. Coming up on 10,000 feet. It's 10,000 feet, lights can come off. Starters can come off. Now we're accelerating, we're above 10,000. Accelerated 291 knots from 250. So we're decreased our rate of climb so we can increase speed, and then we'll increase the rate of climb again. Once we've leveled out, once we've straightened out here, I'll put the autopilot can come on. Alright, Command A, autopilot is on. Everything's looking nominal. Coming up on flight level 180. So we'll go to standard. Standard is set once, twice, 3 times. Okay, we've now been cleared to flight level 280. So I'll put that on the MCP. Looks not too bad today. I'm flying using Active Sky XP real weather. So this is real time of day flying with real weather for this time of day in this location. Gonna make a slight turn to the right here to 174 degrees. We'll match that on the MCP. And we can let the flight attendants start their duties. So as I mentioned earlier, flying today with X-Plane 11.50, and it's still in beta. This is beta 9. The last one we had was beta 6. Beta 7 and 8 never saw the public light of day, as there were bugs were found from some of the third-party testers, so those were never published. And there's still a few gremlins to be sorted out, mostly around the VRAM memory management. Hopefully those will be resolved in upcoming betas, but overall it's a great improvement. Our after takeoff checklist. Engine bleeds are on, packs are set to auto, landing gear is up and off, flaps up, no lights, and the altimeter is set to standard. Changing course will be when we get to Famuk, which is the end of the Mini 5 departure, and we'll make a slight turn to the left to 164 degrees, and that will be in about 26 nautical miles. Okay, now we've been cleared up to our cruise altitude, which today is flight level 350. So we've set that on the MCP. Probably put the weather radar on my side and terrain on the FO side. And we've got 46 nautical miles before we get to our cruise altitude. And I think we can put the safety belt off. So I apologise for not releasing a video last week. As I had mentioned on the community page, I've been doing some fairly significant computer upgrades. For those that don't know already, the simulator runs using 6 computers. One computer runs the avionics on the inside of the cockpit, and then I have 5 screens, 5 4K screens. The 3 front ones are 75-inch 4K screens, and then 2 that you can't see are on my far left and far right are 55-inch 4K screens, and they're turned 90 degrees, so they're long ways up, and their job really is just to fill in my peripheral vision when I'm flying, just to help create the illusion and the feeling of being immersed. And so the front 3 computers, so there's 1 computer driving each screen, and the reason they require that is because I'm running at 4K, so that's more pixels than one computer can handle for more than one screen, and get a decent frame rate, a smooth frame rate. So the front 3 display computers, those have had pretty much complete upgrades, new Gigabyte Aorus Z390 master motherboards, and Intel i9 9900K CPUs, 8-core CPUs, running at 5 megahertz rather. All solid state memory now, so each machine has got a an M.2 solid state drive which plugs directly into the motherboard, so it's nice in the sense there's no power cables, no SATA cables required, just plugs into the motherboard. I have a 1 terabyte drive in each, and on that is the Windows operating system, Windows 10, X-Plane itself, and then I have another 2 terabyte M.2 drive in each, which just has the Orbix scenery, and hopefully that'll keep me going for a while, although it's probably already 3/4 full. And then I have a solid state disk drive in each one of them. Can't remember which size now. I think 1 terabyte, and that's just used for backing up any critical data. So Windows X-Plane configurations, the plugins and scripts required to interface all this. And then the 2 rear display computers, which I don't really need to have set on such high settings, because as I mentioned, they're really just filling in my peripheral vision. Those basically got the hand-me-downs from the front computers, so those are running Intel i7 6700K CPUs, and they have SSD drives in them rather than M.2 drives. So it's been a big improvement. Allows me to turn the settings right up. I've still got a few of the settings turned down 1 notch, just not to overstress the X-Plane Beta at the moment. So they've sorted out some of the VRAM issues. It's nothing more frustrating than trying to make a video for you guys, and it crashes on takeoff or halfway through the flight, and that's happened. And as you can imagine, it takes a lot of time to set all this up. Today we're filming with let's see, 5 cameras. We have 3 main cameras, which are my Sony AX53 4K camcorders. I have a Sony Action Cam 4K camcorder, which is filming the primary flight display and the navigation display, although I just heard that cut out, so I'm not sure whether it's overheated or not, but I'll try and remember to turn it on before we start our descent. And then at the back I've got a Zoom 4K camera, just giving a big picture shot. The most reliable cameras are the camcorders, and that's one of the reasons I like to use them. Plus the quality is very good. They're very good in lower light, and they don't have the restrictions of digital SLRs, where you can only actually shoot, I think it's 15-minute lumps of video, which, as you can imagine, in my situation wouldn't be very practical. Anyway, we're now up at our cruise altitude, flight level 350. Cruise power is set, and it looks like we've got a fairly clear day flying over the mountains here. It's a little hazy, but hopefully you can see some of the Orbix scenery below us. Okay, so we have 190 nautical miles now to go before we start our descent into the San Francisco area. So let me catch you up on what else has been going on with the simulator. I decided it's time that my seat covers and the seat cushion, the bottom cushion, it's time to replace them. The cushion on the captain's seat is definitely getting a little old and has lost its cushion, and to put it mildly, my butt hurts by the time I finish flying. I've ordered new seat cushions and sheepskin covers for both chairs, for the seats and for the back. Those are actually going to be made in New Zealand. They're coming from New Zealand with New Zealand wool. They're being made in a company called I can't remember now. Begins with G. Genovation, maybe Genovation Global. I'll have to look it up, or if anybody's interested, send me a message. They make real upholstery for commercial airliners and helicopters, and they were really good to deal with. So I expect those to be here in a few weeks. I think they're going to be made next week, and then obviously it's going to take a week or two to get from New Zealand to the US. So that'll be a nice addition, and hopefully a lot more comfortable flying. Interesting enough, when I took the seat cushions off because the company wanted pictures of the underneath of the cushions and the seat frames, just to make sure they made them for the right seats. And when I took the cushions off, which is the first time I've ever done that, there were some serial number ID plates underneath, which I hadn't seen before. The captain's seat, just as a point of reference for anybody who's sharp-eyed enough to notice, both seats are actually first officer seats, and all that really means is that the controls are on the same side on both seats, whereas in the real aircraft the controls are reversed on each side. It doesn't actually make any difference at all for me flying. Let's get comfortable here, put the armrests down. But this seat on the serial number plate, the ID plate that was underneath the cushion, confirmed that the seat and almost certainly the other seat were out of 737-300s, and the captain's seat has a manufacture date on it, and it was made in 1986. On the first officer side, I believe the seat is probably the same years old, but it looks like they were recovered once, and the FO side actually doesn't have sheepskin covers, and it looks like that was recovered by a company in Arizona in 2006. So definitely not as worn out, but still many hundreds of thousands of flights have been seen on that seat as well. Okay, we've got just 60 miles now before we start our descent. Let's get rid of those. Currently we are, let's see here, just passing Eureka. To our right is the Pacific Ocean. And the famous Pacific Coast Highway, which runs all the way along the coastline all the way down to Los Angeles, known to locals as the PCH. And we've been cleared to descend via the Star. We've also let's see, we will set the altitude on the MCP to our first restriction, which is flight level 290, where we need to be at or above 290. So I'm going to put that in the MCP now. So that will allow the aircraft to start descending once we get to that point. But it won't descend beyond that until I reduce the altitude on the MCP. So that's just to make sure that we don't violate that restriction. Okay, 155 degrees. And we're reducing thrust to start our descent. Descent checklist. Pressurization landing altitude is set. Recall is checked to clear both sides. Auto brake is set to 2. Landing data VREF 144 and minimums are set to 113. Radio altimeter and approach briefing is complete. Alright, we need a bit of drag here to slow us down. And the speed brake out. It's quite a steep descent here, 3,400 feet per minute. Feels like more of a dive than a descent. But it should give you a good view of the Northern California. Speed brake again, just 50%. No. And flight detent. Coming up on flight level 240 restriction, we're okay. Let's go to the next one, which is be above flight level 190. Set. And I think we'll put the safety belt signs back on. Coming up to flight level 190, and we're going to descend to our next restriction, which is actually not until 4,000 or above. noisy here. It's often like this in San Francisco. Coming up on the transition altitude, flight level 180, where we leave the flight levels. So it'll come out of standard. And let's see if we can pick up our ATIS. So 2997 is the altimeter, and we have Lima. What, 133 degrees? Radios are tuned 111.7 both sides. Our initial approach course 285 is set both sides. The scenery at San Francisco is Mr. X's KSFO V2. It's a little heavy on the frame rate. I do notice a few stutters when we land there. See how that is today. Hopefully I'll bring out an update where it performs better under Vulkan. But I can't complain too much for freeware. Okay, now we've started our vector on 140 degrees, and if I didn't do anything now, we would just keep flying at 140 degrees, 11,000 feet, until we run out of fuel. And normally ATC would then be vectoring us on to our approach, but today I will just manage that myself. So we're going to start our descent. I'm actually going to set the altitude to 7,000, and we're going to do vertical speed and descend at something like 1,500 feet per minute. See how that does. And you can see on the navigation display here, the green banana is where we will actually get to 7,000 feet, which looks about right. And eddy to the left, which is 6,000. Actually, we could probably go down to 6,500 feet, which is pretty good. And I will get ready to go back onto VNAV. We will line select eddy, so it's in the scratch pad on the CDU, and then I will enter that at the appropriate point. And we'll get the cabin crew to get the ready for arrival. We'll put engine starters can come on to continuous, lights can come on. And let's just check the ATIS once more.
Kilo Sierra Foxtrot Oscar Airport information. Code number 2156 Zulu. Weather claimed 297 at 13. Visibility 10. Sky condition. Few clouds at 1,900. Temperature 2.8. Altimeter 2.7. Advise on initial contact. You have information. Code number.
Altimeter is the same, and now we have November.
Kilo Sierra.
As you go.
Check. And we go down to 6,000. And I think we're slowed down as well, so we can make this turn without overshooting. So speed intervention, speed window is up. And we will go down to 220, I think. And then we will select direct to eddy, enter that. VNAV is on. Altitude now can come down to 4,000. And our heading is going to be it's going to be 332 degrees. Let's just down to 220 here. And we can come out flaps 1, speed's checked, help us slow down a bit. Slowing down now to 187. And we can start the altitude down to our final glide slope start at 1,800. And we can arm the localizer. The localizer is armed. Approach checklist, altimeter is set to 997. Runways in sight. we could do today, just to do something different, is demonstrate the Autoland capability of the 737-800. To do that, we need to have both radios tuned in to the ILS frequency, approach calls on both sides, and we'll be using both autopilots. So we're on the approach, we're on the glide slope, and we will arm autopilot B, command B, so both autopilots are now on, and flaps 5. Dial the speed to flaps 5 speed, arm the speed brake, and gear down. And flaps 15, speed to flaps 15. And VREF plus 5. VREF plus 5 is set. And flaps 30. Before landing checklist, engine start switches are continuous, speed brake is armed, landing gear is down, green lights, flaps 30 required, 30 set, green lights, ready to land. Okay, so now the plane is going to land itself. You will see, hopefully you'll see if it's still recording. On the PFD you'll see 2 new displays. They've just come on, roll out and flare, so they are armed, they're in white. The plane will automatically flare will go green, and then when we touch down, roll out will go green and it will control the rollout. It will not activate the reversers, I have to do that myself, and then once we go to manual braking, that will be up to me as well, as will steering.
1,000.
Check. Runway in sight, runway's clear. 2 reds, 2 whites on the PAPI. Roll out and flare is armed. We're on the glide slope. Flaps are set 30. Auto brake is set to 2. Lights are on. Starters continuous. Passengers are in their seats. 28 right confirmed. My job now is just to monitor. And normally you wouldn't auto land unless there was really bad visibility. And as you can quite clearly see, visibility is fine. But I thought you might be interested in seeing the simulator simulate that. As you can see now, land 3 is activated on the PFD. Everything's looking good.
Approaching 200.
Continue.
50.
Flare is on, is active.
10.
And roll out. And reversers. Which will come off. Reversers idle. Manual braking. Well, it was a little long, but it was okay. And here's our high-speed taxiway. We'll come off here. And we will slow down so we can hold short of runway 28 left. Flaps up, speed brake and retracted. Come off, lights are off, strobe is steady. Okay, so we made Tango. And we will hold short of 28 left. Okay. Okay, we have cleared to cross 28 left. Clear left and clear right. Okay, and here's Bravo. And we'll cross that. Make our left here. And our flights can come off. We can start up the APU. To make a right here to our gate. And here's our gate 58A. Internal taxi light can come off. Flight directors can come off too. Okay, we'll make our left here. A bit over to our right. APU is online, it's on the bus. And there we are, stop there. Parking brake is on. The APU is on the bus, engines can come off. Fasten safety belt lights can come off. Hydraulics are set. Pitot heat can come off. Weather radar should be off, and train radar is off. Anti-collision lights can come off. Ground power is available and is selected. APU can come off. Fuel pumps can come off. Turn that off. TCAS is fine. Alright, so after landing checklist, flaps are up, speed brake is stowed, auto brake is off, weather radar is off, terrain radar is off. Okay, so there we are. We're at San Francisco International Airport, KSFO. Hope you enjoyed the flight. And remember, thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and if you're not already a subscriber, please, and would like to watch further videos, please subscribe to the channel and click on the bell for notifications. It helps me with the channel. And otherwise, stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.